there because supporting local is, to me, it's super important. And for the stores that aren't supporting local, I think it's a huge fail point. And I understand that if the brand or the boutique brand is
a dud.
Right. I get that.
Nobody wants shelf turds.
Right. Shelf turds.
Yeah. Shit that just
God, we got to be able to insert some sort of a turd on this. You know what I mean? There's got to be an emoji for that. Chalk in 1505, whatever that number is. What is cannabis doing for you?
Put some dog tags together, man.
Peter Yousif with Goldn Bloom. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's start it off.
Pete Dog, motherfucker.
We're gonna use them all up in the first round.
Let's do it,
dude. We got to slow down on the sound effects. All right.
You got the.
We only got 4. We can't use all of them right now.
You got the whoopee kitchen sound effects.
All right, let's talk, man.
Let's do it.
Goldn Bloom.
First time.
Give me a little lowdown on yourself. You don't have to get all stretched out, but what's your position, who you are, what you're doing down there, what you're not doing down there. Let's talk about that.
All right. So my name is Peter Yousif, as he said. I'm one of the owners of Super 5 Consulting Group, who manages and operates Goldn Bloom in San Diego, near downtown on 33rd and Market, 3385 Sunrise Street, if you're wondering. My position there is I do the buying and just make sure things operate smoothly. We have a great team of general manager, junior manager, inventory, and just the buttoners.
So, let's just kind of get into it, and because right now the industry is what it is, and as you can see, the market is changing every day. We're not getting that 2-week, 3-week change. We're now getting daily changes across the board. So obviously, having a store. The challenges that we used to have, unlicensed, coming into license, and now, coming into 2 years into license, I think the challenge is that the market's about to get flooded. And what do you guys see being your advantage against other stores? Because you guys clearly are one of the top runners in Southern California. So you have to be looking at the future. You have to be looking at being the person that changes and the store that changes with whatever the punches are going to be. Mm-hmm. So, what do you see in Goldn Bloom that is not only different, but what's going to be the future that's going to keep Goldn Bloom on the map as, we come into San Diego having 100 plus stores?
I think one of the main things that sets us apart from everybody else is our customer interaction that we have. We're the type of store who's not trying to rush people in and out. We have a wide variety of things, and we'd be more than happy to talk about every single item if you really want to know about it.
Well, we'll do that. We'll do that when we get into the store level, because we're going to take this on the road. So we're going to be at your store. We're going to go through this, but I can verify that. I think the big difference that I can see is there is no rush at Goldn Bloom, mm-hmm. and having been there quite a few times, really the understanding that there is an individual care for each person that comes through the door, Absolutely. Whether it's medical or rec. Mm-hmm. And I think it's huge to see that, because the direction that everybody's going right now is time limits. And everybody's under this 3-minute time limit, and trying to keep that flow moving. And you do get rushed. And mm-hmm. and the person, whether they're new or they're old, if they want the experience, if they want the interaction, and they can't get it, I can assure you they're going to go to another store. So that I can verify that when you walk into Goldn Bloom, the check-in process is super easy. Once you get into that, if you're rec or you're medical, that's very definitive separate on where lines. You're going there, which is a huge plus. And then the people that just want to come in and get their products and go, that know what they're getting, Platinum Vape. They can get their products and go, but also the benefit side is whether you're new or you're not new, and you want to interact and you want to look at other things, that's available at Goldn Bloom. which I can say there's a lot of stores that I've visited that I think it's just a sign of the times on how quick we can get somebody out to get a new patient in or a new customer in. That's a benefit.
There's pros and cons to, speedy processes. You obviously get to see more people, but I think it's all about it's what separates every other smoke shop and liquor store from each other is the experience when you walk in. I think that's what's going to be the difference between, the quick in and out shops that are opening up and the personal shops that are there to really help you. And I think that's what's going to separate us and keep us afloat from everybody else. That and we've been around, one of the longest. We're the 8th licensed store in the state of California,
right? Which
is huge.
No, it is. It's big, and when you look at it as you go along, it's like being, the number 1 to 10 employee in a company that now employs 7,000 people.
Absolutely.
That is, that's definitely a huge benefit. The other thing that I can say about Goldn Bloom is the staff. And I could say you're not going to find too many stores that have staff that are so well trained that there isn't a product on the shelf that they don't know.
Absolutely.
And
that comes down to the companies.
That is huge.
And that's a very big thing for us is, the company presence in the shop, whether they're going to come and do the PADs or they're going to come and do the vendor trainings.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even on that level. Yes, that's true. But I'm talking about the staff themselves. Mm-hmm. They know about every product that's in there.
Absolutely.
And I think that art got lost in all this rat race on licensing and everything. And now it's like, I'll keep going back to that because it's a push to get a person in and out. Mm-hmm. And when you have somebody that's not trained in every product that's on your shelf and they have to ask another employee, hey, what about this? And that interaction with the customer gets lost.
Of course.
I think the big thing is that you have a staff that's very well trained, which shows the management side is taking care of making sure that everybody knows what's in that store. And there's no question about that. And as well, having brands in there that are training and helping in that process. Absolutely. Because you can put something on the shelf, and if nobody can sell it, it's the worst product in the world.
And it could be the best product on the market.
It probably could be the best product on the market.
And I've seen that multiple times.
And that was, us coming from the store background on our part, that was what was hugely important for us, was to make sure that every person was trained on every single thing. So there was never a point where somebody didn't know what that was on the shelf. Mm-hmm. So that I can say at Goldn Bloom, you definitely have that part down.
Thank you.
Now the looks, you lack in that department, but that's okay. You know what I mean?
Don't judge me on the rest of my staff.
No, no, I'm just judging you. That's it.
Please, no.
What I'm saying. No.
So, I mean, with that being said, what is the future? Like, is there expansion in the process? Are you guys looking at more stores? Or, I mean, just give me the lowdown. If you don't have a future in your mind now,
we definitely have a future.
Then we just say goodbye.
It's just so hard to grow in the cannabis industry. It's there's a lot of people who are going out there and disputing your licenses and just slowing down the whole process. And it's just a shady asshole thing to do. But you know who you are out there, and the company people know who they are. And the name stealers.
You'll see comments on this.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Definitely, everybody knows. Everybody knows who they are.
But I mean, so what do you guys see? What's the plan?
We're in the process of getting cultivation and distribution. I mean, the thing for us is we want something very central for us that'll be easiest for us to operate. And I mean, we've had plenty of opportunities, throughout, the city up north and stuff like that. But we want something more central that we can locate and keep, true to San Diego.
What would be what are you guys thinking with distribution? I mean, look at what's going on right now. Why distribution?
So I'll be honest with you. In the distribution side, I think if we just were to make it, it helps the retailer to have a distribution license, just so you can buy by bulk. You can package your own flower. Okay. So it's not limited.
You're not looking at going and starting up your own fucking distribution.
No, that's too much of a headache.
You're not looking at what's going on right now?
I know what's going on.
Trust me.
I told you so, but it would help us out more to have our own distribution just
Yeah.
just to get our own product. You know what I mean? If I want to white label stuff through you, you know what I mean? It'll be easier for me to do my own.
No, I get it.
packaging
I
and
just
do-
wanted to make sure that you weren't being a dumbass and thinking you were going to go out and start a
No.
maybe Rise, or what would you name it? Rise Distribution? No.
Yeah. No,
I heard the name's available though.
No, right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard that's
currently
on the screen.
available.
Yeah.
No, we're my main thing is our distribution license. What I really want to do is just buy bulk flower and just do our own house white label.
No,
You know
that's
what I
it.
mean?
And that
I don't want to be limited to paying the crazy cost of packaging and flour. Just
100%.
due to the name. You know what I mean? I
See, and when you said distribution, I thought you were really a dumbass.
No.
But now look how things
You know
change.
better than that.
No, I don't. But but look how things change. It's like really quick. All of a sudden, you go from that to being kind of a smart guy.
Yeah, no, that's just,
No, I mean that is definitely a key. And I mean, in our part, I can tell you distribution. Because we have it and we do it and done it.
I mean, look
I
at
could
the
never.
jobs that you have and with your own company.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
hard.
No, I could never consider, as we did initially, to ever go back to distributing other products on our own.
Yeah.
It's
It's too much liability. You gotta worry about their products and all that bullshit.
yeah.
It's
No,
not
it goes way beyond what most people really understand distribution, and that's why you'll see right now. I mean, all these big major distributors they're struggling, failing. It's a tough place to be because the amount of exposure that you have for delivering a product is one thing. Then you go to the backside of the financial side of that and being able to carry those notes for 30, 60 days. We're no longer, very few people other than Goldn Bloom are COD.
That's right.
And I think we'll go into that in a minute, but which is a great thing. I'm going to write that down so we don't forget that because I know you will. I
What
think
does COD stand for?
cock on demand. So, no, I mean, going into this, it's the distribution side of this it's such a big angle for the industry and it's so relied on. It's become very tough to move forward in that if you don't have your own.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's important that if you have the availability to get distribution, a license, you should have it.
Absolutely. And then, see, and I want to make one thing clear for the people who are not in this industry who are going to listen to this podcast. Everybody thinks, and I know you everybody thinks that this industry is, money just growing on trees all around you, hand over fist.
Remember
Nobody
when it
knows.
was?
Yeah, oh man, good old days when it was medical.
Remember?
But now I'm telling you, like, Lil, you make more money owning a restaurant with the margins in a restaurant. I mean, you're scrambling to make 10 to 15% on after your overall cost of goods and stuff like that. I mean, you're netting 10, 15%, which is not much compared to the volume that you're grossing.
Right.
And people automatically assume, oh, you're seeing all these people and you have all these products, you're making money. It's not the case at all. At all. I mean, this industry keeps changing. Taxes keep going up, which is feeding the black market even more. Yeah. I mean,
Who pays taxes?
everybody pays taxes. Welcome to the
Exactly.
license side.
Yeah.
Welcome to the license side. I mean, state, federal, even though it's not federally legal, we can't use banking thanks to the federal government.
That's a question
Taking
that
all
I'm
our
gonna
money.
have down here, too.
We're technically working for taxes.
Yeah.
The taxes are taking 37% of everything that we make.
And that's where people are getting caught.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on forever, and we will probably, but that's where people are getting caught now. And my belief, and I have a perspective on where this industry's at, where it's going, how people are getting there. I think coming from medical, coming from we call the unlicensed market, taxes weren't being paid.
Well, we were paying taxes in the medical side.
Not talking about Goldn Bloom.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the
We were paying our
black
taxes
market?
too.
Okay.
But I'm saying 90% of the general black market
Absolutely.
or unlicensed.
100% of the
I hate
black
calling it black market because we were all there. You know what I mean?
We didn't start that way.
Well-
we started off medical.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2017.
I'm sorry.
We were part of the good
Well, you're
guys.
sitting across from an OG.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, no, I mean, actually, coming from that black market, everybody was black market unless you started, with a silver spoon in your mouth like Goldn Bloom, where you just walked right into a license.
Yeah.
Coming from that side of the market, most people were not paying taxes. And I could tell you, we started with Nature's Leaf and we went from there. That was our first corporation, paid taxes day one since then. Now, I've always told Cody, like, look, because when you're standing there and you have a pile of money sitting in front of you and you go, okay, 30-40% of this is going to go to taxes. Now, at that time, that could be, in the beginning for us, that could be 40-50 grand. And you go, wow, we could really use this money right now to expand. But we, that at that time, our percentages were so much greater that I had to make sure that we both understood that we're making, the money's there. The taxes have to be paid.
Absolutely.
Before anything. So there were times that it was really tough to pay those taxes and expand because we've never taken any outside funding. But at that point, we really understood that, and I explained to him, trust me in this, because down the road, you will see what the benefits are, as much as we hate to pay taxes,
of course,
of paying them are. And I think we've seen it tenfold in a lot of different, situations. But I think the biggest thing is that learning to pay your taxes, it's like learning to crawl before you walk.
Absolutely.
And for us, that was important as we entered into this together, that we made sure that was important. And now it's just another thing that we do. It's not a struggle. And this is where I get to my point, is that what happens is these people that weren't paying taxes, they become accustomed to a lifestyle. They become, having a Bentley sitting in the front yard of your, $300,000 house is, it's a priority. And reality is that then all of a sudden we come into the license market and, hey, you know what? You're fortunate. You get a license. Great.
9-day difference.
And what's that?
It's a 9-day difference.
Yes, it is. It's night and day.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot more to it than the benefits. There's other things that there's priorities that you have to have. So we get a license, or they get a license, and they still got the Bentley, they still got the $300,000 house, and they're doing all their Vegas trips and blowing all that extra cash. And now all of a sudden, guess what? The first quarter comes due,
Uncle Sam,
and they're like, hey, this is great. And that letter comes in the mail. And they go, what is this? It says IRS on the top. What does that stand for? You know what I mean? That's literally what happens to people in this industry, and it sucks, but that's reality.
Yeah.
Because people had come up that are not as fortunate, but are very savvy in this industry, and get into a license situation, and now they're in this position where they have to pay taxes. And this letter comes and it says, okay, you did this much money, and now you owe us this much money. And they look at that letter and go, well, what does that mean? Now they got to hire somebody. They got to have an accountant. Well, shit, my accountant wants this much money just to look at this. Okay. Now they're finding out, damn, I owe $100,000. Well, wait a second. I don't have that $100,000. You know what I mean? And he's looking out at his Bentley going,
time to sell the house.
Yeah. Let's get rid of that house. The car's got to stay.
Yeah, come on, let's keep it real.
No, I mean, and that's,
Doughboys always got to look fly. Nobody cares where they live. It's what
exactly. No, and reality is that's what's happened. And we have this course of time that takes place for people with licensing, and then all of a sudden they're not paying their taxes. That becomes a big federal thing. Even though we don't have the federal blessing, it still is a federal thing. And now, as they go along, guess who starts to take those hits? It's the people that they owe the money to, not only just the taxes, but then all of a sudden the suppliers, the manufacturers, they're extending credit, and now, us as manufacturers or any other bills that may be due, the taxes get hit because they become so important. A lot of times whatever that works out to be.
And they take the taxes right up front.
Right.
They don't give a shit whether you sell it or not. They want their taxes up front and after you sell.
Exactly. And so now you end up in this situation where people, as you can see now, coming into 2.5 years or whatever it is now under license, where people are in trouble.
Yep.
And so I think what you're going to see is kind of, in a weird way, it's kind of like the interest-only loans back in the day where, you know, a guy goes and buys a house and he gets a $1 million house on a $300,000 budget. Well, then he's got to get a Bentley foot in the front yard because that really looks good.
Yeah, of course.
And then, 3 years, 4 years later, all of a sudden now the note comes due. And that interest-only loan that was costing them $2,000-3,000 is now $10,000 a month, and they don't even make anywhere near that. And that's what's happening. I mean, we can go on forever on this, and I think the cycle that we're going to see right now is so much bigger than what we're describing. But taxes is one small part of it, and then we could go on to what's happening with outside funding and and what goes on from there. But I think let's not get off track on this.
Yeah, and I also think that the way the industry is going now, it's just so business and corporate that a lot of the cannabis guys who were on. So this is the difference. The thing that I feel between the licensed and unlicensed side, and correct me if I'm wrong, is I think the OGs, like you're saying, who don't know how to convert into the tax and licensed side. I mean, there's companies who do it too, who stay on the black market, say, fuck it, well, let's ride this out as long as
we're not going to name any names, right?
Yeah, no. But then
I mean, we can if we want to.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Sure,
we can. Can we do it?
No, God, please, no, no.
I don't know.
Galani.
We won't. No! We'll leave Cushy Punch out of this.
Well, they were on both.
No, I mean, listen. I mean, we all, we have friends that are in the industry, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm friends with, a lot of these people, and the decisions that are made, and I can't always say that it's based off of greed. I can say that I know a lot of the people in this industry that have gone on both sides, and I don't agree with it. We made that decision, but what I can say is that, trust me, at some point you're going to get caught.
Absolutely, it's not worth the risk, and
it's
definitely not worth the risk.
It is a black eye on us, for the people that do spend the time and the money and lots of money to get a license. That's where it becomes a big problem, because we all have that decision that we can make, and we can teeter that line. You guys could do it just as well. You guys could. Have another store and do the same thing.
Absolutely, we can have a.
So it does suck, because the cost that we have, not just in licensing but manufacturing and what's going on today,
it would definitely help.
It would definitely help.
Yeah, but you got to stay on the right.
But I'm going to tell you something.
It's not worth the risk.
Not worth losing that license.
Not. Absolutely
not at all.
And you get caught and stuff like this, and then look what happens. You're losing what? Minimum of a $50-60 million company that you've built up in the last 6-7 years. That you've
and I honestly think
what's the point of that?
I don't see the point, and I honestly think that especially those companies on the top shelf would be there anyways.
Yeah,
they don't need
Absolutely.
That market. And if sometimes people, their feelings is that I want to help others, or I don't know what the hell it is, to be honest with you, but it's like this is the transition that we've all agreed to make. Yeah. And especially being a top brand, it's almost like your duty. What do you call it? Civil duty?
I don't know.
Civic duty? Is that it?
Civic.
Okay, civic. Sorry, civic duty to the industry, that you make that transition and don't look back. And so yeah, I mean, like I said, I have friends that are teetering both sides of the fence, and good luck to them, I guess. But I think that the decision's not the smartest one.
Absolutely. I agree. So finally, to clarify what I was saying is, I feel like the black market is more of the OGs. The new licensed market is more of the new corporate, people that are coming into the industry. I mean, you're getting people from major, Fortune 500 companies that are coming in doing the marketing, and their CEOs.
Listen, we're getting off track now.
How?
We're supposed to be talking about your expansion.
Oh.
Are you guys expanding?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
It's in the process.
You know what I mean?
Cut that shit.
So, I mean, I understand you. So back to distribution, we understand why you're doing that, which I think is probably one of the smartest things that you could do at the store level.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about, on the other side of expansion for Goldn Bloom.
Retail.
So the retail side. Is there any new stores in the future? I understand cultivation, which I think is key. I think everybody in the backbone should have cultivation of some sort if it's feasible. We don't have enough of it. I don't care where you're at, especially if you're in Michigan, anywhere else. Even California, we need more cultivation and good cultivation. But outside of that, for the Goldn Bloom name, store-wise, is there any stores in the future? What about delivery service?
We have, so delivery service is coming up. We do have a delivery license now that we're not really taking advantage of. You know,
delivery is one of the biggest things going right now.
It is. It definitely is, and I agree with that. But if it's not done properly, there's no reason of doing it at all. There's no reason of half-assing it. And we tried it. We were making money, but the liabilities and the insurances that go behind it is almost not. It's almost not worth it unless you're doing it on a huge, large scale.
You got to start. How do you get to a large scale?
I agree.
How do you get to large scale?
I agree with you 100%.
Because listen, you can say that. I'm saying, coming from, once again, starting off as a delivery service, 80 to 100 deliveries a day, starting out with 0. I can tell you at the store level, probably one of the most important other assets that you have under that license is a delivery.
I agree with you 100%.
If you guys aren't delivering now, I don't understand why you're not, because it's become now a necessity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm talking just at store level, because look at what's happening on the bigger level with delivery services. They're not doing that great.
I mean, look at these.
We're not naming names.
No, we're naming names now. Let's go down.
Okay, we are.
Who are they attached to? Crooks.
So there you go. I mean, but at the store level, it's so important to have that, and it's lucrative. It's another great avenue for you to generate, income.
And I think that's where we were looking at things the wrong way this whole time, is how can we compete with these other stores around us? And what we just realized, and it took us a year to realize, is the storefront we have on lock when we're doing great the way we are. Is we weren't paying attention to delivery companies.
Well, I think it is like you guys are doing a great job of keeping all the internal parts working. And you maximize, all the things that you have within the store, but the delivery service, it's now, once again, people don't want to go.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave their house. And if you can sit on your couch and you can order a burger, pizza, anything that you can imagine you want to eat.
Even alcohol.
Hey, let me get there. I had this whole thing set up and you fucked it all up on me now. So if you can sit at your house and order anything from any restaurant, right?
Okay.
Any alcohol, anything, and weed?
Trifecta.
No, bro, you're missing one thing. What is it?
Food? No, what is it?
You got strippers.
Oh, yeah. Those are on demand.
You can order one in.
It's a very sad thing that Backpage got shut down.
Yeah, but
there's
other avenues.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, like this, people don't want that anymore. That's the people want to sit home. They want to eat food.
Yeah.
They want to smoke weed, drink alcohol, play Call of Duty, and bang a stripper. That's right.
Snoop Dogg.
That's where it's at. And all joking aside, I think if from an outside perspective, and I know you guys are looking at it too, I think one of the biggest things that you could do, because you got to start. It's got to start with day one.
It has
and that's it. And really take that into consideration, because what you're doing at the store level, if you guys push that out under your delivery model, look at what you guys are doing at the store level.
Yeah.
And if you can continue to have that type of customer experience on the delivery level, I can assure you, as we did, it's huge.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Another thing is, I feel like we pulled back on the delivery side to focus more on the storefront, because we figured that's what everybody's seeing. That's the avenue that we wanted to take.
Right. Which you were right for a while.
And we did it. And I feel like we've reached our cap with it. Now actually we're in the process of a huge remodel. We want to give Goldn Bloom a new van.
That was another question for me.
Yeah.
Was as you go along, we're still on the expansion side, but on keeping up with everything. Do you guys ever see the model of having, having stands outside, everything from behind the counter, such as, I don't want to use MedMen as an example, but I'll use it. MedMen, there's a lot of other companies out there now and that are doing that. Is that a model you guys are going to look towards?
From my understanding from the start of this is that customers were not allowed to physically touch the products. Which is why when you
you're right at the start of this.
Yeah. So I don't know if the things, if the licenses have changed or if the regulations have changed. But I remember there's a kiosk in every one of the every corner where there is one of those stands. For example, like the MedMen. So it was technically a showcase, but people were physically allowed to touch it. But it's kind of like that.
But now now it's changing, and that's that's part of what's going on with the regulations. And you can make a stop up at MedMen right up here, and this is not a advertising for MedMen.
I've seen it in other shops, but I mean think of it like
huge.
Yeah, it's
I hate to say it to you. Go to March and Ash.
Yeah. March and Ash is a beautiful shop.
Once again, I think that model is probably one of the best things that could happen in the industry. Especially for the people that don't want to have an experience.
But then exactly for the people who don't want that experience.
Exactly. But
see, we have those backup customers who know what they want. They can just order it. They send us a message. We get it ready. And, hey, if you're express delivery.
Another great avenue.
Yeah.
But I'm that guy that wants to go in. But I don't want to go in, and as much as I am a person that loves to talk and have conversations, sometimes you just want to go in and grab it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
but you can't make everybody happy.
It's kind of like having a hot chick in your car and running into Rite Aid to get a condom. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you don't want to sit in there and chit chat and talk about things. You want to get that thing, get out. Get out and get in.
Yeah.
Get out, get in, get out.
Get in and get out.
Yeah, no, because then you can get in. Right?
You go in to get out, to go back in.
And then out.
And hopefully you pull out.
Well, no, because you stay in. So you're staying in. That takes us back to delivery.
Yeah, exactly.
You just want to stay in.
Stay home.
I just want to stay in. I think that's
delivery is
key.
definitely next on the list.
Yeah, I think
to start up.
So what else? I mean, any stores coming up, or is it something you guys are looking for? Or you guys just good with one?
We definitely do.
There's nothing wrong with having one store.
Yeah, no. I mean,
everybody gets into this thing and they go, "I want 50 stores." Well, listen.
You know what? That's the thing is, of course, we do want expansion. Everybody wants expansion. I think we're ready for expansion. It's just that the regulations and stuff change so much where it's kind of like pushing us away. Like what the fuck? Like we're not allowed to do what we're doing. And if we're doing it correctly, why are you coming in and stepping all over our toes?
Right.
You know what I mean? You keep making things work. And look, when I go back to the taxes, I don't mind paying the taxes.
Well, I mean,
if you can hit me with a high tax bracket, at least do something about the illegal shops where it doesn't force people to go there. You want to charge me 40%?
Another huge problem that we have.
And I'm okay with that. I understand how the taxes work, and I know it helps everybody.
But I think the big thing too that you have to understand, and this was something we acknowledged in the very beginning, because we welcomed the state and anybody into our facility to be able to train and to understand, because the one thing that we forget is these guys are all people that have never been involved in this industry. And so they're learning as well. And it's just like anything else. If I call you a dumbass, you're going to back up and it's just going to be on. Mm-hmm. But if I go, hey man, how can I help? You know what I mean? Because I do know what's going on.
Absolutely.
But I don't know what the regulation is going to be a month from now. And and you of all people should know, dude, how much has it changed since day one of licensing?
It changes every week. Like
exactly.
It's almost
and it's
daily.
Frustrating as hell, but that's reality.
Yeah.
And you can, it's
on
one of
top
those
of that
things.
Metric comes in. Fucking shit. Know your shit before you put it out there.
Listen, we'll be dealing with that for the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the thing is understanding what it is and how it's going to be there. Good luck.
Yeah,
because
they're just making things harder for us, and it makes you almost not want to.
I don't think it's necessarily. This is where it's tough, because I don't think they're doing it intentionally. Mm-hmm. I think they came into this with the understanding of cannabis is here. How do we make this work? And you have to understand, dude. It's like, to me, it's like a relationship. God bless myself, and yourself, but kind of you.
It's a one way relationship.
No. No, but it is. It truly is. It has to be worked on all the time. And the one thing, we just want to go make money. And now that we're making a lot less money than we were,
expecting.
And people, right.
And whose fault is that? It's their fault.
Well, I mean, it is their fault.
Where does our tax money go? Do you know?
But no, I don't.
What? Nobody knows.
No.
And, you know, I'm actually just joined the Chamber of Commerce for, you know, San Diego. And we're starting a whole committee about this. And literally nobody knows where the hell our money's going.
No.
Millions and millions of dollars.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Did you ever see that movie Envy?
No.
With Jack Black and Ben Stiller?
No.
Vape-Riser? You don't remember that movie? You never saw it?
No.
Of all people, dude, I thought you like I could hit this. You movie quote everything.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh. So, anyways.
New movie to watch.
Jack Black invents a spray that makes dog poop vaporize and go away.
Okay. So
and it's gone.
Okay.
And they call it Vape-Riser. And then later on in the movie, you know, he becomes a multi-millionaire, whatever. Ben Stiller doesn't invest in it as his neighbor. You have to watch the movie. But long story short, the people come in like, where's it go? Where's the poo go? Yeah. Everybody wants to know, where's it go? That's what we're doing right now with our tax money.
Exactly.
I think it's vaporized. That's where it's at.
Nobody knows.
But I mean, once again, I mean, we could go on that side of it, you know. But I think there's good intentions on the front side of it. I don't know what's going on the back side of it, but I mean, our inner workings with the state and with the city have been really good. So but I also can tell you that there's been stories of not so good. So I mean,
my only complaint is not doing anything about the illegal market.
That's a huge thing.
And it affects you guys as well.
Oh no, it's huge on us.
You know, I was sitting there
It's
explaining
huge.
this to a vendor the other day. I was like, look, you know, the more the black markets are open, the more, you know, these illegal or these companies that are licensed are feeding the black market. It makes it worse on you because people are not coming here buying your product from my shop.
You don't have to tell me, man.
You know,
trust me, it's killing us.
But I don't think brands. I mean, you guys are, yeah, but I don't think many brands are doing anything about it or recognizing that. They're not going after it like on a retail. No, I mean
standpoint. we do what we can. I don't want to go too deep into it, but we do have a couple people here that consistently are on the black market side of what's going on. We consistently are sending the city, sending the state, everything that we have and that we know in stores, products that are on the black market. And once again, it's a frustrating thing because we just don't get anything back.
Yeah.
But I can promise you that we are, and if you know Janet, she's very diligent about making sure that we stay, you know, in the ear.
Yeah. So,
yes, we are doing our part. I mean, outside of that, I think we're talking about the stores and, you know, if there is stores in the future, then I think it's good. Delivery service is something that's definitely got to take place.
That's another thing is, so we come from the tobacco industry. And the way I see this happening is what happened in Colorado and Oregon is the more licenses you open up, it just you lose that customer experience, and it's just, you know, a shop on every corner. It kind of, do you really want to bust your ass and get all this licensing and go through these hurdles to be like a, you know, on a smoke shop level? No, because you don't generate the same revenue that you're putting in.
I agree with you. I also think it's a personal capability. You know, you have to want it. You can have the greatest store in the world. You don't have to have 100 stores.
Yeah.
But
I feel like if you have one good flagship store and you just have multiple locations where you do delivery throughout the city,
right?
I feel like that's better than having a storefront.
And that's absolutely great. As long as you're accepting to the fact that the licenses are going to flood.
Of course.
And as long as you understand that, you know.
And that's not what we were told when we originally applied, remember? How things change.
We're back on that.
Taxes.
Dude, there's a lot of things that we weren't told. You know what I mean? But reality is that's going to be, you know, they're going to open up licensing even more. Originally, we were told there was going to be 24, 32 or whatever it was, you know what I mean? And that's what it was. And now things are changing. But cities are coming on board. Cities around you. You know, I mean, it's part of growth. And I think that as long as you have a store that is changing with the times, as you said, you're looking at doing a new build out. You guys got a beautiful store. So, and you know, it's one of those things. And that's where I brought in the question of having the stands where you can, you know, if I want to walk in and I want to grab a cart or I want to grab an edible or I want to grab something, That's what I want. I want, and if it's legal for me to do that, I believe that Goldn Bloom should they should provide that because.
But then what happens to the customers who do want that personal experience?
That's where you have. I'm not saying to decrease your staff. By all means, don't decrease your staff. But now that personal experience it's so much greater because now I'm standing in front of you. We're shooting the shit, talking about stuff. You're not behind a counter, and walking back and forth. We're now standing here talking about this, talking about a cart, talking about flour, talking about this. Yeah. I mean, I know you guys can do it on that level. I think what you'll see as delivery, you'll see people that don't want to come in. They don't want to communicate. They want to literally just grab something and go. That's a huge thing. It should be available. So if you are expanding, I think that should be in consideration. The downside is people always go, oh, people are going to steal shit.
That's what I was getting to.
Well, listen, I think no matter what you do, there's always going to be that agenda on a person's mind. But I think if you provide them with the understanding that they're on cameras, you have great security there, I don't think you're going to see that. It's cannabis world is a little bit different than walking into a 7-Eleven. So it may happen. I'm not going to lie. It's,
I feel like
it probably is going to happen. But I think that the amount of people that are not going to do it is going to supersede the amount that are.
Yeah.
And the convenience is going to draw people to it. Because I know that I've been to your store when there's a line. And to be standing in line for me, and I could tell you an example was I was at Planet 13 in Vegas. Great store. It is what it is. But standing in line, waiting for that long for something that, I just want to grab and go, it's frustrating as hell. And listen, if I'm with buddies and I want to hang out and I want to go in and we're going to go, cruise around, check shit out. And, I want to talk to you guys. I think, hey, I heard about this new product. You guys have it. Yeah, we got it. And let's talk about it. That's great. That side should never go away ever. But if I want to walk in, once again, I got a hot chick sitting in the car.
And you know what I mean? You want?
I just want,
that's what the express lane is for.
Well, I mean, I get that that's the express lane, but I've been at your store and the express lane is full, bro. You know what I mean? It's like getting in the carpool lane, on the 405 at 4:00 in the afternoon. Dude, there's no express.
Yeah.
So it's the thing is the model of having multiple cashiers that are open and being able to walk in and take those products and grab them, walk up, boom, out the door you go.
And our setup is set up perfectly for it, where you can literally walk in the line to walk all the way around. You have from the CBD up to the edibles down to the vapes and flowers.
I don't even think that having it structured in a way that it's corralling people. I think what I really like, and listen, that's just me, what I like is to be able to walk in, go around wherever I'm at, grab what I want. Somebody says, hey, are you done? Do you need any help with anything? That's the first thing. You can still have that. Walk through the door. Hey, you need help with anything? Yeah, you know what? I'm looking for this. Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. Or you know what? Nope. I already know what I'm grabbing. Love this. Platinum Vape. Grabbing that. Going up to the counter. You ready to check out? Yep, ready to check out. Up here you got your onesie twosies like Platinum Vape chocolates.
Yes.
You got those things sitting up there. Grab your onesie twosie, whatever it is that are sitting there, and boom, pay for it and go. You're done.
Yep.
Less than a minute, you could be done and out. Versus express lane. What is express lane really?
Because express lane is when you order your products online and just come in to pick it up. We have it ready. We package it for you.
Yeah.
You walk up to the counter and say, hey, I'm George from
okay, 15 items or less.
No.
How many? No, what I'm saying.
It's kind of like that Starbucks thing, right? Where you can order on the app.
Exactly. You just come and pick it up. Yeah. But you got to pay for it there. You can't pay for that on the app. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I mean, once again, how many times you at the grocery store, and you have 9 items and you go, I'm going to use that fucking 15 items. It's like a proud moment, right? And then you go over there and you got this lady over there with a cart with 47 items and you're like, and then you're looking at the cashier like going, what?
Yeah.
And I know. So I feel, man, it pulls on me. So I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you guys are great. You're going to do what you're going to do, but I think really do some homework and looking at that. Yeah. And when I do it, it's a weird thing that I do because from owning 4 stores, the one thing that I always do and I've always done is I walk into a store and I have this method when I walk in from the start. It's almost like a thing clicks as soon as I get to the store. And I'm looking at I have a way of looking at things to understand what's good and what's bad. And then as I'm going through this mentally, it's like my little mental checklist. I go in and then I'm starting to see like what makes me happy, what makes me not so happy. And as I'm going through my experience, then I always want to talk to people.
Are you having a therapeutic expression at Ralph's?
I am.
Yeah. You're walking on the baby section. Oh, I want to be cuddled.
No, but I do. And then when I talk to the people, I have a certain way that I talk to them to understand, are they well-trained? You know what I mean? Are they happy in their job? And I'll ask people like, hey, what do you like about this place? And I've done it at your store. And you do it in a way just to understand like what's really going on, because to own stores and understand what's good and bad in stores and what people like and don't like, it's as important to understand the people that are working there and what they don't like. And
absolutely,
you know what I mean? So I think that, you know, we all have these little things that we do. And so I think if it's something that you guys are looking at, you should take that consideration and go visit stores and understand, you know, because you may not like it.
Yeah.
And you may come up with other ideas and you have that available to you. So I think it's huge.
I think I have an idea that we're going to implement at the shop that it targets exactly what you're saying, but in even in a faster way.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, if you can build off of it, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. So anyways,
we'll speak about that off the mic.
We could speak now.
No, I don't want to give away my great ideas, man.
You know what I mean?
I've already got my name stolen once. I don't want to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one out to be. All right. So.
No, God, please, no. No.
So off of the expansion, we're going to be doing them. Dude, you're going to be sitting in on a bunch of these.
I'm ready. I love this thing.
You know.
I mean,
I think you'll be like my right-hand guy here.
Dude, I would totally be a co-host.
We'll do this shit. You know what I mean?
Totally be a co-host.
Hey, what am I over here?
Where did you come from, man? Where did you come from?
That's all automated, by the way. You know what I mean?
Where are you? Where's his voice
We call it automated Tommy. Now, okay, so anyways, so going into some of these other questions that I have, you know, I mean, we're looking at the future of cannabis, and I think we're kind of generalizing, and that's what we're doing, where things are going to be. I have a lot that I can say, but this isn't a podcast about me. This is a podcast about, you know, you.
It's about both of us. I want to hear your side of the industry, too.
I know.
Coming from a manufacturer and distributor and, you know, owner of a product.
Yeah, but dude, I can go on forever. That's the difference. And I know you can, but I can cut you off. You can't cut me off. I mean, just give me a quick lowdown of what you see. Maybe we'll ask this. Let's ask this one at the end.
Okay.
We'll leave this one to the end because I think we'll fill in some of the blanks on this. But so, that fucking button's gonna go, dude. You're gonna wear that thing out quick. I can tell you right now. He's gonna come in. He's gonna come in, and I'll have all those buttons popped off. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. And that's what you're gonna get. He's gonna be in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hear.
You know what? I could just add it in post.
That's true. All right, so we'll go through a few more of these new products. You know, other than Platinum Vape and everything that we, you know, provide for you guys and you guys carry in your store with our chocolates and Driven and gummies and carts and flour, and we have our new stuff coming out. Yeah.
Or that's just your personal product?
What do you see? Like, let's talk about what's not the best selling. You know, we'll start with what sells the most: flour, carts, edibles. Like, where are we at on that?
You know, it's always been flour, but not by much over concentrates and vapes. But I feel
isn't that crazy?
It is. I mean, you always have those OG smokers who just want strictly flour.
No, but what I'm saying is it's crazy because even back when we had stores and we were selling the vape carts, it was amazing to see how fast, because we kept really good track of numbers to see what was selling the most. And, flower back then was dominant in every way. Yeah. And to watch over a year and a half to 2 years, the concentrate market literally just explode. Yeah. And watch flower just decrease.
But then the whole vape bullshit that happened with the illegal markets that affected the whole license side and the smoke shop side as well, actually kind of took a big drop for,
but you just fast forwarded on me like 3 years, 4 years. I'm back 5 years ago.
I wasn't in the game 5 years ago.
I know. Well, we still got to have my moment here.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm talking about is the fact that, that timeline when we had stores and we were doing that part of it, that timeline that we had was flower. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking tons of flower.
How many different varieties of flower did you have?
Honestly, and if Cody was sitting here, I'll bet you I'm pretty close. We always had at a minimum of 50 to 60 strains.
Different strains.
Yes. Minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times that it was a lot more than that. And we were very big on, keeping that. And I think that's, for back in the day with Nature's Leaf, I think that was a big part of...
Variety is always a great thing.
It is, but variety is money.
Yeah.
Putting that on the shelf, it's a lot of money. And, when you got a Bentley sitting out front of your $300,000 house, keeping more than 12 strains on your shelf is tough. So, no, I think, so now looking at it, as we go forward, where concentrates are and where flower is, the ironic thing to me is that flower still...
Dominating?
Yes. It's dominating, but I don't think... I always thought, at some point, flower is just going to kind of be a small portion of what's going on. It's not. I was wrong. I was completely wrong.
You have the introductory smokers who don't want to jump into the heavy dabs and the concentrates because they see, the higher testing. And you got to know that it's what the market portrays. In Southern California, everybody's going for the potency. You know what I mean? Which is taken away from, let's just say, the live resin carts that people are making that are 50 to 70% THC. People see that
Platinum Vape has that coming out in late March.
Yeah, but see the thing is in Southern California is everybody assumes that the best quality is the highest quality, highest potency, and that's not always the case.
No, it's never the case.
Yeah, but that's
never the case.
But that's what the consumers assume.
No, it's not even what the consumers assume. It doesn't matter. The high potency is always it. You can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
I'm agreeing with you with that.
Right.
That's what they're assuming. But when you're looking at quality, is distillate always the right way to go? Now you have these live resin carts that are coming out.
You and I, we're going to argue about live resin.
Yeah,
we're going to argue about it.
It's to the consumer. I mean, we do have those consumers who are connoisseurs who know the difference between pure potency and quality, and and effects, but.
I mean, it's Bud Light, Coors Light.
Exactly.
It's
it's comparing
going into craft
to,
beers.
Yeah,
it
is. This is like what it is.
It really is, and there's that avenue. But my question is what really is, where's everything at in the market as far as what's selling, as far as flower, concentrates, and edibles, and what do you see in the upcoming?
Yeah, flower's still number one. I don't see that going away. Just because, like I'm saying, the newer users want an introductory start to it, and I think flower is the way to do it. You're not hit with those crazy high potency pens where you're taking 2 hits and you're getting ripped, and you're like, oh shit, is this really for me? Like the edibles back in the day,
right?
When people were scared about taking edibles, I got tricked into eating.
We're scared.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm scared to death of them.
Exactly. And look how it's changed. And you're comparing back in the day to what it is now, how it's regulated in microdose.
Well, I think the benefit now, as you can see, is, back in the day, I can remember in 2012, 2013, the most reason of most people going to the emergency room was edibles.
I don't doubt it.
It was. We found out about it, and that's where it comes into play, because my experiences that I had on edibles were horrible.
Yeah,
and I think it fucking traumatized me for my life.
100%. I agree with you, because it happened with me.
I won't even think about doing an edible at all.
But it's different now.
And no, it is different. And that's the thing is like, my fiance loves edibles. I loves them. And I think the reason that she loves them is, well, I would say in the beginning was because you could microdose. Now,
No.
now I don't think it matters.
Microdosing is 100 milligrams now.
Right. No, but I think honestly, I think that's the key is like probably what's happened to so many people. For me, it was like, hey, eat this chocolate.
Exactly. So wouldn't you
Dude,
want
that
to
chocolate? I mean, it could have had 500 milligrams. I have no clue.
But now you're not eating edibles because of that anymore, right?
No,
so now imagine
I wouldn't
if you're,
even. I'm not even consuming. But if I were, it would never be an edible.
See,
my understanding, when we look at the market of everything, that is across the board, BDS, however you want to break it down, edibles, concentrates, flour, pre-rolls, all that stuff.
I think that's
edibles is like a huge climb right now, but they're not a big portion. Like if you have just an edible company, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're Kiva, you're one of those guys, or as we're seeing right now, Plus Gummies and some of the other ones that are out there. And I think Little Smokies is another, big one on the climb. There's not the market is only so much.
Yeah.
So when you look at that and you look at how many companies and that's all that you're doing, you have a cap. You can't really go any further than
I would say
that
edibles about 10% of our market.
But isn't that crazy?
But that 10% comes from the 3 large gummy companies.
And that's where I was going to get next.
90% of it would come from them.
Right. And I think, and I may be wrong, but I mean, I was looking at PDS the other day, and for us being a cartridge company, we're number 9 right now on the carts out of, I think, 200 and something cart companies.
Wow.
So we're number 9, and Driven.
There's got to be more than 200.
And Driven, I think, is at like 14 or 15, something like that. No, it's a huge, and we're super proud of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But looking at that, what the spread between number 1 and all the way down, is huge. Like they're
you're talking about revenue-wise.
It's not huge. Yeah. There's a huge chunk that's there from number 1 down to say number 20.
Yeah.
15, 20, whatever it is. And I'm not good with numbers.
You're talking about like comparing to like $6 million sales to like $300,000 sales.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that number going from 20 million down to, say 6 million is a lot of companies. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of room up in that hot tub for a bunch of people to be involved.
Yeah.
When you look at the numbers from chocolates and you look at the numbers from gummies, dude, there's not
7, 8 companies, maybe.
Yeah, no, you're talking about 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah, that are really on the taking that top number, and that number goes literally from you take just say $1 million, it drops from there out of the top 5 down to like 50, 60 grand.
Wow.
So it's like there's
Big
not a lot of there's not a lot of room at the top there.
But I see more edible companies coming in now.
I think the companies are coming in. This is what I'm getting at. So understand, this is my philosophy. What I'm getting at is that
Fully integrated.
there's not a lot up here for everybody to get involved.
Yeah.
And the reason there's not a lot up there is because the edibles market is growing, but it's not growing as fast as it should.
Yes.
And that, I think, is where we're going to see that transition from microdosing, introducing people into the market. It's kind of like, having a pool with a beach entry,
but can I
versus jumping off of a 3-story house like I did with edibles. You know what I mean?
You did what?
No, what I'm getting at is that my experience into the edibles market was like me jumping off of a 20-story building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't ever want to do it again.
Of course.
Versus now really understanding, and this is where I give all licensing and everything that's going on a huge amount of credit, because to sustain the industry and go towards a lifetime of what we're doing, and you have to have the ability to bring people into this under the microdosing side of it and not be afraid to try things. And being able to know that when I purchase this Platinum Vape chocolate bar to know that on this, you're going to have the dosing. You're going to know exactly what it is, and that is consistent. That each square is going to contain 10 milligrams.
Exactly.
You know, like that's huge, because then you can understand what your capabilities are with that by just taking a piece, knowing that it's 10 milligrams. You can break it in half, and guess what? That math equals out to 5. Yeah. So, you know, understanding that, then you wait that period of time. So I think the education on understanding what your dosing is huge.
You know, where I really
as we found out when we went to Bill Zarian's house, my fiance,
we got a problem here.
Viviana, found out that exceeding 20 milligrams was too much, but definitely going above 60.
She's eating
everything. Found herself
gummies. Oh,
maybe,
chocolates.
maybe.
Let me try them out.
But it was huge. Honestly, I mean, that really helped her to understand too her pace for edibles, and understanding like where she was at that time. Yeah. And you know, I mean, just like anything else, man, you graduate, you go to the next level, and you're just like when you feel comfortable and you want to go from 5 to 10 and 10 to 15 and 15 to 20, you have the ability. Back in the day, dude, it was a fucking bar. You just eat that thing and be like, okay, where am I at?
This market has gone. I feel like a lot of those people who are in edibles had to exceed 100 milligrams to get high, and we don't have that anymore. So I feel like those OG edible eaters are all going to the black market and getting these 300-400 milligram, 1,000 milligram bars. And
absolutely.
But what happens when those people, when this black market is gone? What are these people going to do now?
Well, I mean, that's a whole other avenue. I get where you're going on it. You know, I mean,
it'll be great for us. They're gonna have to buy
having
3
high
bars.
doses. Well, but I mean, that's the reason that they're gonna partake of our new driven gummies that are coming out in March, which you'll be pretty excited about too. I mean,
I've heard about them.
Good,
very excited.
Good. So I mean, so back on that. So edibles it's probably the most talked about part of this market now versus what it really is in the market. And I think what we're going to see here is over the next probably 2 or 3 years, because the edibles have become so, prominent in the industry, that people are now using them more.
Yeah. Well,
we're going to see, I think our expansion through 2020, 21, once again, this is just all me talking shit, is that you're going to see edibles have a huge climb in this.
And what I've noticed too in the recreational market is there's so many different edible products now. I mean, they make teas now. They're making honeys. Everything. They're making gum. They're making everything. Anything that you can think of.
I hate to break it to you, but those were back in the day too.
Really?
Yeah.
The teas and all that?
Everything.
I haven't seen those.
Well, because you weren't then.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're now.
I was a good boy back then.
Well, not necessarily.
Stayed
good boy.
Clean.
Yeah, I bet. I bet that was the case.
You want to slow down? Is that what you keep doing that for?
No. So I think you're right in a lot of ways. Let's go now, because we know that edibles are there. We know flower still dominates, and that there's a lot of other things coming on. But let's talk about the brands, how important it is to be a brand, and what your understanding of it is. And I want to know what are the best brands that you're selling in your store.
Okay. Well,
and even if it's not Platinum Vape,
category-wise,
it's still there. So
I mean, the category, I'll tell you the best brand.
Okay, so let's just start. I'll take it, dude. You can give it to me on the chin. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just know that we're number 9. But what's the top brands right now in the card industry?
You guys are number 1, and you know this. You guys have been number 1. You guys are number 1. I think you guys are going to stay number 1. And it comes down to the brand and the brand support that you guys give us. You guys are always in there educating the staff and the people, the consumers. And that's a lot of things that companies are not understanding, is that brand support is major in a shop.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to have one of your people coming in and talking to my customers rather than having my, 32 employees having to sit there and pick, one company out of the 50 that we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's that Costco motto, I think, really, really works, and it really helps.
Right.
People who are coming in, not necessarily for Platinum Vapes, but it's like, hey, you guys are Platinum Vapes. I usually smoke Select, or I smoke this, or I smoke Rove, and I smoke this. But you're in there and telling them about the product. I think those people are going to at least try it once. Say, hey, you know what? You guys are in here. You guys are doing these specials. Let me try it out and let me compare it to what I usually get. And when it comes down to you guys, I mean, you guys have the highest potency, the best prices. There's no reason why you guys aren't number 1. and you guys are consistent.
Yeah,
with
I think you're right. I mean, that's the thing that we found out
is consistency.
Is consistency and brand.
With,
I mean,
with everything.
Is it important to you guys at the store level to know? I mean, brand is it's a loose word or a term or however you want to look at it, or a faceplate, for what's going on. But it's important. I think, if I'm speaking right, it's important for you to know that the people that are on your shelf believe in themselves,
absolutely,
and believe in the brand, and
believe in us. That's the major thing.
Absolutely. But I mean, believing in the brand is a big part of that. To the point of, don't you want to know that? I mean, it's great to be local. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you have that local following, and that's a start. But do you want to know that a brand that's on your shelf is expanding and growing in a market that allows, especially where you guys are, where you have such a huge tourist rate that comes through your store, to know that when a person gets off the plane from Northern California or comes from Michigan, which, I mean, we're both there.
Yeah.
And now Oklahoma, and we'll be in Nevada. But isn't it important for you to, does it give an advantage to know that if the person's getting off a plane and they're coming to Goldn Bloom, to know that when they walk through the door, they're going to see brands that they know and recognize, whether they're in Northern California, Central California, Southern California, coming from other states. And I know this to be true because
a lot of those brands are black market brands, but we dabble in both sides.
So, no, that's true. But I mean, I know that it's true on the level for us that we have had people in your stores, and I know because you've told me where people have come from Detroit.
Yeah.
You come from Michigan and been like, oh, damn, man, this is who I use in Michigan.
Yeah.
So that's got to be huge because
you get brand
how many other brands are doing that? And, I think that's important as you are bringing brands in and understanding who they are. Don't get me wrong. I love supporting local, and I think craft is huge. I think there should always be an availability and a shelf and a market for somebody that is doing a small craft, brand, if you want to call it that.
A boutique brand.
Mm-hmm. I think it should always be there because supporting local is, to me, it's super important. And for the stores that aren't supporting local, I think it's a huge fail point. And I understand that if the brand or the boutique brand is
a dud.
Right. I get that.
Nobody wants shelf turds.
Right. Shelf turds.
Yeah. Shit that just
we got to be able to insert some sort of a turd on this. You know what I mean? There's got to be an emoji for that. Chalk in 1505, whatever that number is. No, you're right. But I think supporting local is huge in every aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And so I know you guys are really good about making sure at least, that everybody gets a chance to be able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're from San Diego. We're a San Diego brand.
Right.
We want to emphasize that. We want our local brands to succeed more than, these big boys that are coming in. Everybody needs a chance, and why not start from the home?
Exactly. So moving off of vapes, because now that we know that Platinum Vape's number one, Goldn Bloom, let's go into flower.
Flower, ooh. I would say our top 2 flower brands right now selling. So category-wise, outdoor, light dep, indoor.
Yeah, I know. There's a broad.
Yeah,
is there one brand that's carrying all of those, or is you seeing? Well, is there one brand that's carrying all of them and holding the torch or the number one spot with indoor, outdoor, light dep? With those, are they carrying the different levels?
Yes. I would say the 2 top brands that are the number one selling flower company have to be Flocana and Lowell Farms. And it's consistency. And that's exactly what people are looking for is consistency.
So not to sidetrack, but we're going to because we're going to do that a lot. Mm-hmm. If anybody was with us at any fucking time that we're out, there's not enough hours in the night to go through sidetracks that we go on. But let's talk about that. Let's talk just for a second. I'm not here to bash anybody, but Lowell, just got some stuff in there. Mm-hmm. What do you? Well, and this is where I have to understand it as a store owner because, and we've talked about this. I know previously when you have a a brand that's on your shelf that is selling in the black market, as a store owner, it's difficult for me to understand because I've been in that position, but not that position. Yeah. So when you have, now being under license and you have a company that is selling in your store and doing well, but could be doing better, and then that 5 blocks from your store, there's another store, little seedy, as we call them, black market, unlicensed store that's selling the same exact brand at a price a lot lower than yours. Like we've had this conversation.
Yeah,
so
I don't carry certain products, and you know that because of that specific reason. I just don't feel like my employees.
So with Lowell being in the position that they are.
So I don't think Lowell was selling to the black market. I think what they came out with is they had a grow that wasn't licensed that they were selling flower through.
Well, I mean,
and I don't know if that's 100% correct.
It's not, but that's okay.
But I don't know. So, what were they selling? Did they say they were
so I
selling?
mean, they got fined. They got fined, and there was a big.
But it had to do with the grow, though, not selling products to the black market. What is that?
Yeah,
you tell me.
Yeah, it was that
selling to the black market.
Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Once again, I mean,
if it's selling in my shop, it's selling in my shop.
The fine line of selling to the black market is a lot of people are saying, oh, it's a counterfeit. There's still an avenue for using Prop 215 and, on the medical side of doing that. So everybody's using that crutch. I think it's a bullshit. And I'm calling bullshit on all of it, especially for a top brand. And I truly believe as a top brand, to me, it's like being a Michael Jordan. It's like being that's how I look at this.
It's like Jordan selling fake Jordans.
Exactly.
To the swab meets.
Exactly.
Instead of Foot Locker.
There you go. And I think, you're being watched and not just being watched by people that you don't want watching you, but most importantly, you're being watched by people that believe in you.
Yeah. You're consumers.
Exactly.
And then you have
and so I think that's, there's room for being able to get past certain things, but I think reality is that you're the Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? When you take these big companies, you're that person that other companies, I mean, I can tell you companies that I've looked up to that have failed and it, as we were growing and as we are growing, and it's disappointing. It really is to find out, that that's being done. So I know on the store level, it is one of those things that I commend you on for, because I know we've had talks about this. Absolutely. And you've made some changes as well to make sure that, that it's in your best interest as well, as much as it sucks.
Because they're supporting me at that point.
Right.
If you're staying legitimate and not going and selling to the black market, you're supporting my shop.
Right.
But if you give them an avenue to go to another shop and say, hey, I'm going to sell it to you because we have the name. But, if people go down the street, it's $10 cheaper. Why the fuck would I support that?
Exactly. I don't know. And I see it. And all I got to do is pick up the reader.
Yeah.
I can pick up the reader right now.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I should go get one.
Talk about it. We should start calling the shops out.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, trust me, because I know that Platinum Vape, we have taken huge hits on counterfeits.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we built a team to just go through and understand where that's at, and to get rid of that. And I can assure you, I look at the Reader magazine every day when it's on the stand. And if, in fact, we ever did see a Platinum Vape in an unlicensed store, I'll be the first one there knocking on the door.
I've seen it happen.
To get that shit out.
Yep.
And
so you guys are good with that. You guys nip it in the ass, but it's because it's not you.
Right.
But with these other shops,
that's exactly, like... What's the truth?
Yeah. I mean, Stizzy's a perfect example of that. I mean, we've talked about this before. And, I carried Stizzy's. They sold very well. But then I had people kept coming in and saying, hey, like, what the fuck? Well, you can go down the street and get it for $20 cheaper. And like, well, what do you want me to do? You're going to an illegal shop. They're not paying taxes. They're not testing product. Go buy it from them.
Being manufactured in an unlicensed facility.
Yeah, what do you want me to tell you? There's nothing I can do. Right. You know what? You want to go and buy a shittier product? It's like me coming to you and telling you, listen, you can either get a McDonald's burger or you can go to Gordon Ramsay's burger place and you're getting the same thing essentially, but this quality is way better.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're paying for the quality. You're paying for the purity, for the cleanliness.
And And that goes back into later on talking about how to build a brand. You know what I mean? And that's not how you do it.
No.
You're going to have the customers that are always going to be for the lesser dollar. And you're not going to get away from that. But okay, so we know that Flocana and so Flocana and Lowell are right now, they're the top sellers across the field of what you have in flower.
I sell the most volume of those two companies.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So I'm going to take a guess. I'm just going to throw it out there, and maybe I'm wrong because I know Platinum Vape has pre-rolls as well, but I'm going to guess that Lowell's probably one of the top on your pre-rolls.
Believe it or not, top on my pre-rolls would have to be the Crew Littles.
Okay.
It's just a value price point. I feel. Also, another thing is
where is Crew actually on the shelf right now?
I took them off. People getting greedy, man. When you build with a company and you're consistently growing and growing and growing
right.
with them, and then it's just not enough for like, hey,
Crew's big for
they're
Goldn
huge.
Bloom.
But when somebody comes up to me and tells me, hey, we're doing this and this and this in other shops, and we're not doing this here, and I'm like, okay, like are the other shops buying as much as I am? Well, yeah, they are buying. I mean, not as much, but they're doing. So what's the point here? Like, what are you trying to tell me? You want to stop supporting me like I support you and go give it to other stores?
Right.
By all means, go ahead and do that. Then you're not going to get my support.
Right.
If you're not supporting me the way I supported you from this long run and we've been together from the start, there was no reason for me to continue to carry a company like that.
And I could say on our part, and this is being honest, and I mean, there's a lot of times I think you're a dick, but
I'm real.
But yeah, you're a real dick. Yeah. I like how you said that.
I say it like it is.
Look in the camera and say it. I'm a real dick.
I'm real.
Yeah. No. What I can say is, I mean, even we've been very good about having a friendship outside of business and keeping business, which is very difficult. I don't care what anybody says. It's like a girl having a guy friend. I just don't think that ever really works out.
No.
You know what I mean? Unless he's gay. Not that I have anything against being gay, but the ironic thing is that whenever your girl does have a guy friend, they're always gay until you find out that they cheated with them.
Yeah.
But no, what I can say is that that we've been really good about making sure that we stay on that line of growing together.
Absolutely.
And dude, you know where we've been. We've had ups and downs and continue to, and you guys have been great, to work with us to allow us to continue to grow and, the ups and downs part of it. And that's the big part of this is,
but
exactly. And as you know, we're all about long-term.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I think our brand is growing on a long-term base versus just a tomorrow thing. You know what I mean? So we're not here to just cultivate a bunch of cash and take off. And, we have, 150, plus employees here between, here, Michigan, Oklahoma, soon to be Nevada, and then New York and Miami. Platinum Vape. So anyways, no, that's been huge for us. And that's why, people go fucking Goldn Bloom. You're like, why is it always Goldn Bloom? And it's not, I've never retained a relationship with, and trust me, I'm friends with a lot of people in stores.
Yeah. But
not the friendship that like you and I have. And so understanding that growing side of it, I mean, we've had our times, man, but we work together to figure out how we're going to make these things work. And that's why I really truly believe that you can't grow on your own, and you can't grow a brand on your own. And there's a lot of fucking selfish people out there.
Absolutely.
And I think you're selfish in all the right ways. You're selfish in the ways of making sure that the store is solid. And some people take that, when you talk about Crew or you talk about other companies, some people they'll never understand that. It's not that, I mean, you always have to have yourself, first,
of course,
in that way, but it's okay to have a close second and a third and a fourth and fifth. And in your case, 50 different brands or whatever it is that's on there to be able to understand, because if you're working with those teams to grow their business, it's growing your business.
Absolutely.
And the thing that we have too is that that's how it is for us as well, is to understand that, we got to work together. And
you got to understand
I'm going to
both
fuck up.
sides.
I'm going to tell you right now, and you know this, and you've seen it, and you've made phone calls. I'm going to fuck up. It's going to happen. And we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that it's right. And I think as long as we're staying true to that, that's how things are going to grow.
Yeah. And look, and the thing with us is, the whole shelving space and the bartender incentives and all that stuff. If you're coming at me at it in a way that you're like, hey, you're the only one benefiting from this. You're just take, and we're not getting anything back. I'm like, no, if that was the case, you would have never done that from the start. But if you were to come to me and tell me, yo, like, we're going through a little tough time right now. We need to back up on this, and we need to back up on this, but we're still going to continue to give you your brand support. So that's a whole nother, I completely understand. Even if you take everything away that you did give me, right? But you're real about it, and instead of making me seem like I'm the bad guy, like I'm the only one benefiting from it,
Yeah, no,
that's where I draw the line.
But I think that's
I'm not going to work with companies like that.
And I think that's the benefit of, I'm not even saying having a personal relationship, because even if we didn't have that, it would still be the same. And I can tell you, I give that to a lot of other stores out there as well. But the problem, that the shutdown point is when you're doing something like that, where it is all about me. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about when I'm at a store and we're doing the same thing, and we're trying to explain to them, like, look, this is where we're at. Like, we're not about $1 million a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to have the ability to go to somebody and talk to them on a level where they don't just look at you as like you're just a piece of shit. You're another cartridge company, and that's, unfortunately, that's how a lot of people are in their stores, and they wonder why their stores aren't growing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you are all about the art of the deal, which I give you a lot of respect, because that's how you grow your store.
Yeah.
If you can get somebody to sell a product for this price, that's your job.
Yep.
That's what your job's to do.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and successfully back it up with a big order. So you don't, it's kind of like you don't kick somebody in the nuts and then walk away.
Yeah.
You kick them in the nuts, you give them a little tickle and a kiss, and away you go. That's what I'm saying is that usually for you go, okay, give it to me at this price, and I'm gonna spend $100,000.
Yeah.
Versus, a lot of these stores, it's like, give it to me at this price, and I'm gonna pick up, 10,000. And it's like, it just doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But that's where it comes down to. The brand has to believe in the store as much as the store believes in the brand.
Right.
You have to work together. And then there's been times where I'm like, hey, give me this try run, and it hasn't worked. But that comes down to the brand support of the company.
Right.
So if we have a deal set, and I'm going to say, George, you're going to give me this part of the portion, I'm going to give you this part of the portion, but I'm only doing my side, and you're not coming in doing yours, and it doesn't succeed. Whose fault is that?
It's mine.
Exactly.
And but a lot of people don't take ownership. I don't have a problem with that. I can acknowledge that.
Absolutely, but you're one of the few.
My fiance won't say the same thing, but I can tell you, like, I can acknowledge it, and we have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's super important for sure.
Absolutely. Relationships is that's what this whole company is about. This whole industry is about network and who you know and how you know them and how well you can work with them.
And that's exactly why I'm going to let you go to my wedding in the Bahamas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Because of that.
Right now, I'm
not even going to charge you.
I'm ready to pet the pigs, man. I haven't seen the video.
I'll be there next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So I think we've kind of gone through most of everything we're talking about. The one thing you just said it, and my question is this, and this is going to be huge across the board, because I know what we're experiencing. I think we've been really big on all the different levels of this. Excuse me, but I think this is going to be a huge question, because as we go forward, and this is true. Like I think, honestly, I want you to be involved in a lot of these podcasts in some way, because you understand this, because what we're doing now is going to translate to a lot of your competitors. I think you're very capable of sitting in and
being biased.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I have the relationship on both sides. Like, for example,
I
Our
know.
relationship with a cartridge company, and I have relationships with flower companies and edible companies.
Oh, listen, hey, I mean, once again, I'm gonna have big cartridge companies in here. I don't care. This isn't about a competition.
Of course.
This is about knowledge. It's about understanding. It's about getting it out there for people to understand.
What we go
first
through.
and foremost, we can all get along.
Of course.
Some of us can't. I'm not gonna mention any names, Select, but Cameron. But I would love to. I actually, in all honesty, I mean, for whatever that is that's out there, I would love to sit down with Cameron and talk in this way and understand, where everybody's at and what's going on. I have nothing against anybody, to be honest with you.
I think we can make that happen.
And I would love to.
Yeah.
That door is always open for sure. And because I love to understand what people are thinking, what makes them tick. And I love to understand like how they're getting to certain places and what's driving. The big thing I love to understand what's driving people. You know what I mean? Because listen, fast forward, we're all just going to get old and die. You know what I mean? And where we leave all this, who fucking knows? You know what I mean?
Who really cares?
Well, I do.
I mean, you're
I do. You know what I mean? I want to leave something. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And I've got a lot to say, and and a lot to do. So I mean, I do care. That's a bullshit statement, by the way.
You as a person doesn't necessarily always reflect your company, though. People who look at Platinum Vape don't know George.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
so
some
your
don't
legacy is
wanna
going to be.
Some
They
don't
should.
wanna know.
Yeah, they should want to know. They want to know what kind of asshole you are.
Exactly.
What you can be. But what I'm saying is, what you represent as your company, a lot of people don't see that.
Right.
And I feel like
I think this is going to be a big avenue on that side of it. But what I'm getting at is what drives me, and this is what's really difficult for people because they get caught in their own way. I believe is that I'm a vape company or I'm a cannabis company, so you know what I don't associate with anybody else, and that's just not the truth. No. And I think on certain levels it is, and everybody has their thing, but I think being able to sit down is huge for all companies. Mm-hmm. And the platform that we want to give here is really just to get people to be able to see what drives other companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, yes, it's Platinum Vape. This is who we are. But we can sit across the table from anybody and go through the goods and the bads. You know what I mean?
Different
and not sit and talk about what's better than, what makes us better than this brand. Yeah. I don't want to talk about that at all. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want to talk about what drives that person to get up in the morning and go promote their brand and
how they do it. Why
exactly.
They do it.
Right. I mean, if they think they have a trade secret, then so be it, whatever it is. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So really understanding the next probably final question for now is more on the lines of where do you honestly, and be honest, as I know you will be, where do you honestly see shelving space? Where do you see it going?
I feel like shelving space is always going to be there. I feel like there's so many new brands coming in and out where there hasn't been that one or two set brands.
Right.
Shelving space, in my opinion, is it comes down to the stores and how they portray it. See, with me, shelving space is not just, your brand supported. It's the support that we give back to the companies.
Right.
You've known from the start. You've been, a great supporter of the shop, and you believed in us as much as we believed in you, and we've grown together.
Right.
But it takes those two steps for us to do it, you and me,
right,
in order for us to grow. So I feel like it's going to change where, in a sense that I'm not just taking in money from whoever wants to give it. I want to give money to people who I know I can grow with,
right?
Who I know I can sell their products, who I know they're going to give me the proper brand support, who I know, their product's going to be consistent and the consumers are not going to complain, no returns and no complaints. That's where I believe shelving space is going to go. And just like any other companies in the cannabis industry or in the, liquor industry or in the tobacco industry, there's always going to be those brands who are giving more support than all the other people.
We're going to have two different views on this, as usual, mm-hmm. on the shelving space,
But you got to think of the two different ways that you're looking at.
Well, here's the thing: is that at the store level, I think what's happened is is that and we've been a big part of this.
Yeah.
Trust me, we've been a big part of this in understanding. It's been a big part of how we've grown too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna deny that. It had become a budget on our line to do that. And I think, I'm not saying it needs to go away by all means. I think it's a great stepping stone. I think it's pushed its limits for sure. Because what's happened is not directed towards you, but directed towards a lot of new stores. They've used that as
You have to have it
as a line item.
See, that's
and so the funny thing is, and I can tell you, I'm not going to name any names, and I'm really not going to name any names, but going into the stores, it's crazy to see how many stores, before their doors are even open, they already know
about the shelving space.
But they already know how much money, before there's ever a product on a shelf, it's already there.
See,
and they're basing their income off of that, X amount of brands, X amount of dollars. This is our monthly starting out.
See, but those brands are the ones who are shooting themselves in the foot by agreeing
exactly.
to.
And I've been guilty of that.
I've had to prove myself to you and to all the other brands of what my capabilities are and why I.
You know how many stores we've pulled? Not to say it the wrong way, we haven't pulled out of any stores at all, ever. And we retain great relationships with all the stores. But do you know how many stores that we have, would you call de-shelved ourselves, I guess? That we've de-shelved ourselves because there's no support there. And it's kind of embarrassing because you're in that position where you're doing really well and somebody will come up and say, we're raising your shelf space price. And I go, but we came in here paying this price and we grew
without anything.
Right. Like we grew on our own, paying a shelf. And now because you see that we're doing better, you want to charge us more money. So
that comes.
So what I do is I come back to the other side of it. I mean, we have these conversations, but really looking at it and go, okay, I mean, then I guess we can't do this. But yet we still are doing the same numbers, if not better, than we were, and still not paying a shelving fee. So that is what brought us to where we were in a lot of situations where it was a one-way street, and we made decisions to say, okay, if we're paying these fees every month and we're not getting support other than being on a shelf, it's more than that. You guys know that.
Yeah, of course.
Then we're just going to make the decision to just organically grow in the store.
Yeah.
And we've seen huge benefits with it, on that level. But I'm not saying it needs to go away. I think people will disagree, but I think it's a huge stepping stone for brands that really want to be a brand, to prove on their end, to go, I'm going to come in your store and I'm going to do this. And to do that, I'm going to pay your shelving fees. And you, on the other hand, are saying, let's go. I'm going to support you guys. I'm going to do whatever we need to do, just as you are. We're going to support each other. And listen, that's how we did it. You were one of our first stores once we relaunched, and we're continuing to grow with you. And I think that's the proven side of shelf. And I think that's important. I don't think it should be an unattainable number. Some of these people out there, they got numbers that are absolutely ridiculous in numbers for shelving fees. You know what I mean?
Crew?
Well, I'm talking about stores.
Oh.
Stores that are charging X amount of dollars for a shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, trust me, I've seen some crazy ass numbers. I think it needs to be at the store level. They need to keep in mind that that's just a stepping stone for growing a brand in their store and helping that brand. And that brand's proving themselves. You know what I mean? So I guess my question is like, what do you see the future of it being?
I still, well, see, like perfect example, like you said, we started off in a certain way, and you came to me and said, hey, certain things are not working, where we changed it up and it benefited both of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? As long as you have those relationships with those people, and I think that shelving space will always be there, and I think it's a necessity for the shop because it definitely helps the shops out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It definitely
Well, it has to.
Yeah, it definitely does. Especially with all these, taxes, all this BS that's going on, and it just keeps getting harder and harder.
I want to be clear. I'm not saying it should go away.
Yeah.
I'm actually an advocate for it in a weird way.
Because you've seen firsthand how it works.
Yes, and I've seen all the levels.
Yes.
And we continue to see all the levels, and we're very diligent about making sure we understand each market and what that means on there. But no, I think it's a stepping stone. It's like, you have minor league, you have major league.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the avenue for getting into stores, and but I think that it needs to reciprocate.
Of course.
And the unfortunate thing about shelving is that a lot of stores just aren't. They just go, you're on the shelf. You're going to pay that money. Well, what am I getting for that?
Yeah,
you know what you're getting? You're getting a shelf.
See, it took me.
But yeah, I mean, how do we benefit? If you're not helping, how are we benefiting you other than just giving you X amount of dollars per month to be on your shelf? Like, how do we work together? You know what I mean?
The way I see it with shelving space is when I tell a company, hey, you need to come in here and do shelving space, is I want you to prove to me as a company that you're willing to do whatever it takes to make that money come back to you.
Right.
I want you to show me that it makes it worth it for you. And on my end, I'm going to, since you are doing, brand support, I'm going to give you priorities for PADs in my shop over all the other stores are not. Because I want to see you succeed as much as you want to see me succeed. So I think there has to be that fine balance of understanding that either you got to give a little to take a little.
Right.
But for those people who are just like, hey, this is what it's gonna be, and especially for newer shops to come in and assume that, and if you can get it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But I don't think it's fair for me as a retailer, where I've had to prove myself for 3 years. I'm consistently seeing 700 customers a day. I'm consistently buying volume from certain companies to prove what I'm capable of. For a company to just come and say, hey, this is what I want. Either you do it or you don't.
No, I mean, and that's another,
I know what we
could have literally, we could go forever, these conversations, which is great. But I think there's a lot of truth to that, because you've seen it, and the fact that you do support somebody, and they come in and you support them, and you do a large volume purchase, and you go through that, and then all of a sudden either A, they raise their prices on you, or B, the product is inconsistent, and all of a sudden now you've got a product that was great that's now less than par.
Yeah,
and your name's on that. Mm-hmm. So it does. I understand.
Absolutely.
It goes both ways, because then you have to go back and go, hey, you know what? I mean, what happened here? The same stuff that we just had now. It's
consistency.
Right.
Consistency.
Right.
And it changes. I mean, I've had edible companies, and I've sold 300, 400, 500 bags of one certain flavor in a week.
Yeah.
And it's gone. And then I try to get it back. I'm like, I need to reorder. Oh, we don't have it this month. Oh, we don't have it this next month. Like,
that's a different consistency.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're correct.
How do you expect me to continue to help you grow if you don't even have your number one product that sells in my shop always available for me?
Right. So I mean, that's consistency in manufacturing as far as capabilities.
Yeah.
Now then you talk about the quality side of it, where let's say you have a gummy or chocolate or or a cart, whatever it is that comes online, and they do the old little switcheroo where they come in and go, here, try this. Oh, it's 95%, or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It's just bullshit. But and you test out the carts and everything's great, and they do a first order and everything's just boom. It hits home runs.
And then you come in.
And then you come in the next time, and it's like, dude, what happened? You know what I mean? We're not going to name any names, heavy hitters. But you know what I mean? So you're trusting yourself out there as well. You're putting yourself out there is more what I was going to say. And it's a long-term, if you're really there to establish a long-term relationship, it's going to be through thick and thin. You know what I mean? And you're not going to bullshit a person that that's standing up for you. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about being for us at Platinum Vape, being at the store level or at the, with Goldn Bloom, we hold that relationship, really straightforward with you guys that, A, we're not going to slide a bunch of bullshit under your door to try to, make a few bucks. It doesn't matter to me, you know what I mean? Or to us. It's more of where are we going to be 10 years from now? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's the key for us. So I think, I think we covered a lot. We got a lot more to cover. So we probably do like a part 2 and 3. Yeah. But the other thing is that we're definitely going to get to the store. And, I don't know. I mean, I think we sign it out, call it good.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I'm the first one.